everyone. I just want to say that there comes a time where you have to be all in or predominantly believe in the material world and conditioning. In the material world conditioning, we think we can tell others and we can arrange life in this patterned aspect, and it satisfies our soul in a way that says, I feel safe. Okay? There again, we go to our base chakra, over concentrating on it, overactive on it when we are focusing on the material world. As though when I have these patterns in place, I am safe. This is a material world concept. We are all of these layers of consciousness, right? I've been through them before and you would have heard me speak about them. Why do we have those 7 colors of consciousness in our design? Because they represent something different that each human is going to go through in the world, the life experience. Okay, and if we don't open up on each of those layers of consciousness, we're going to have different discrepancies where we're held back in any of these layers. Here's the heart, here's the throat, here's the third eye, here's the crown, the top of the head, the base of the spine, around the navel and just above the navel. So, like we have these embodied levels of mental, emotional, spiritual, physical growth, awareness to learn and expand in this life for a temporary life period. So if we are to take our minds and say what we've learned so far, I need to create safety patterns so this human can operate. All right, it's going to limit ourselves to these structured patterns, and we're going to want life at any extent to fit into them. There's no promise of that. Just because what you've lived, you may want your patterns a certain way to feel safe. Overdone at the material, the density. I need my patterns, otherwise I can't expand my relationships or my identity or share my heart anywhere else or express myself differently or think differently and expand as though I'm more than a human. You see this? It's circular, it's cycle, it's flow, it's divine, it's heaven and earth. We are not just to focus on keeping ourselves safe. Right, so you got the material perspective, you can go through life, and the way you recognize you're doing this and you're doing it to anyone else you might want to involve in your life or new careers or new opportunities you don't know yet is, I have to have things a certain way. There is no guarantee or promise of this with life experience, because through the growth of that consciousness, you will be challenged to grow. You will be asked to step out of comfort. You will be asked to step out of the comfort of these patterns your head develops and decides it will put on another, and the other person is like, what in the hell do you think you're doing to me? I've lived a whole other life. You don't take these patterns and say, that's for you now. Right, so there comes a time in the consciousness where we have to accept this is a divine structure, a construct, whatever you would like to name it. But it's what us humans have been given to grow aware of and work with and keep conscious of in our interactions if we are protective in any way of keeping these minimal, held back, restricted, judgmental up here, blocks the flow of like growth of the person. If you judge others, you are blocking your own growth. Okay, this all needs to be in like a flow. Patterns can keep us stuck. Some people will never get out of them, and they'll just butt heads with their pattern, and they'll wonder why things aren't getting better, and then they'll want to branch out, but they'll go back to the patterns, and they'll say the patterns are meant to serve me, and the patterns are meant to take me there, and the patterns aren't taking me there. Because you're here to expand. You can't take this everywhere, and this needs to shed some light on it. Now you know this because other humans you're meant to meet with, or you meet with spontaneously, or anyone, it's going to stir something in the patterns. So this is my point of this video. The material and the conditioning and the patterning is not the whole. We can take that, take parts and links out of it, right? If you're such a logical pattern conditional person, say, well, I'll stop doing that and I'll focus on something else, and you can expand spontaneously, okay? But it's divine is my point. The whole experience is divine, all right? So I'm going through something where conditions are expected, patterns have been had, disempowerment in some growth aspects are going on, and I'm meant to apparently serve this in a very limited communicative nature, and it takes my energy, which, and especially at my age, because by the time you're in your late 40s, you have risen through these challenges and awareness, and you are in like my soul is naturally in a teaching, sharing, integrative, inclusive living process. You can't go back down and say, oh, I'll block off who I am because your patterns say I should just do this. You can't do that to anyone in any relationship construct. You can try, but it works out like this, where I am reminding not only this person, but this world and anyone else involved that this is a divine structure, okay? So like, once you've evolved, you don't go back to like, where I've evolved to is people need to be who they are. So if there is a conditional element in anyone's life, you got to take a look at that. You got to take a look at that. I've been through that myself and peeled away different elements that didn't suit my soul expanse. And I'm quite very happy in doing that. And I've had depth and expanse, and as an eternal soul as we all are, you open up to the contentment of that, and it brings through more for the soul's path now. So you don't just say, oh yeah, I'm not doing anything with my time. Your conditions are like, I don't know. This world is so full of control in conditions and systems and things. And blindly, we've helped hold them in place. So each person has to actually stand up who they are and say no a little more often, and not to battle, but to stand up for the good of themselves. Whereas we've let ourselves not feel we're strong enough for standing up the good of who we are, because you look around and not everyone is doing that. So you just go, oh, this is what we're doing. We're staying at this level of consciousness, which is like we might get up around the identity and the heart trying to share who we are, but the expression never really manifests fully because at these levels and what we've learnt so far, we can get stuck in the conditions and patterns and beliefs and everything from what we've learned so far. But you have to actually remember that each person is on their own as a sovereign being. And no matter who you're born into, or friendships or environments or education, etc., you're still a sovereign being. So if you want to identify with your environment so much so that you think that's all you are, then you are just living the human, staying at a certain conscious awareness level. When we are like all the way up, it's you need more of your expression, more of your expression. That might mean shedding some of the environments or the people. That might mean changing a location, changing a job for yourself, following through on your soul's heart's path. So where are the conditions and belief systems and everything else if they don't serve that? You pick and choose what's relevant for what's calling you, because you stand up for this first. So you take the time to sit back and contemplate anything in your life and you say, does it support my heart's path? Okay? At the heart's path, you're not wanting to hurt anyone. You're just wanting to stand up for this inner feeling, calling, soul, resonance, frequencies, want of expression into new and different. So if this holds you back in any way, you got the responsibility of taking a look at it. And this is what we haven't enforced. We've just narrowed ourselves down, and it's been more about do the right thing by everyone else, keep the status quo of Earth, etc., etc. But that's created a shit show globally in different areas, and we're not standing up for those who are at weak, overpowered with this kind of structures and beliefs going on. All right, so we are in the heart foundational evolution, and when you get to the heart level and you follow through on yourself with bravery and support others, then you are raising the vibration. And what is that? That's divine. So it's inviting and including that humans aren't the superior beings. So don't give your power over to just anything. Your heart and heaven, right? And it is a different form of communication, is like detaching from the material world, doing something for my heart. It's a different air, a different energy, a different receiving, okay? It's very real. Which is why I'm an expression of it. It's very real. My life doesn't include anyone in it that sets conditions or structures on me. I work with the systems in play, but keep my vibration at the divine aspect that we aren't here to give in and feel disempowered. So you speak up as your soul, all right? And you have every right to change and grow. If things need changing and you feel it, you change and grow and express yourself and get clearer visions of this, magnetize other people who believe in this. We are raising the vibration of the planet. This is our divine parts. We've been believing we're just physical humans to make some money. It doesn't matter if we don't care about each other, judge each other. Extraordinary measures of disregard for each other. Okay? What does that say as a human race or as a globe? All right, so what do we need to do? Hearts and souls, hearts and souls, hearts and souls. So you're going to hear me harp on about it all the time. Because we're connected. This is divine. We're not just these two. Like, have some relationships, have some identity, express a little bit, use your heart if you want. You don't really have to. well, you're not going to grow. You're not going to evolve and like at any great rate because you're not using all of your consciousness design. And it's time for this. And I'm not saying rise, everybody. I'm saying you can't ignore this growth. So there comes a time where you are being honest with this. And that's where you cross the bridge in that's a given. Like the material world is there. We land on Earth, there's a material world. It might look different when we come back next time. It's probably different since we were here last time. But if it controls your life, you won't evolve. I'm going to leave it, I believe I'm going to leave it at that, because if you find that you want change in your own life or on this planet, then you can't just stay in conditions and patterns and same. Because what that's doing to our mentality, our emotions, and like our overall spirit, our physicality, our soul's like rise and contentment for this temporary life is depleting and just being satisfied enough. And if you're satisfied doing that, which people will be, that's fine. If you don't feel called for a big evolution in this lifetime, then that's fine, you know. It's whatever your soul is calling you to, and you will reach, you know, whatever your life path setup is, you will reach these different lessons in life that challenge you to give your heart instead of holding yourself back. Change environments if you want to, standing up for yourself, or in a new environment, standing up for yourself, all these various things. But the most important thing is that there is a distinction in the shift. You can't just say it's always got to be this way. You are the individual that is here for the transformation and change. Okay? So you can't just say it's got to be this way. No one can. This isn't the got to be my way when I get to Earth. This isn't that planet. This is, you have a sacred path, you have sacred teams, like a team and then other overseers as well, heavenly assistance bodies, you're known of all the time. So if you just want to blindly say, no, I am just these beliefs, then you're going to attract and live a certain way, okay? But if you're a person that acknowledges you are more than that, which is what has annoyed me about my path, because I've got a person I am dealing with that tells the world he is of like higher knowledge and into, you know, sacred paths and this and that, but he's also, in his physical life experience, very restrictive, conditionalized, non-communicative, hidden in many ways, and nearly, I feel, babied for it to stay the same if he wants. All right? Now, if that's what the person wants, if that's what the person agrees with and chooses and wants to stay the same, then do it. But you're not going to bridge into a new world or new experience for yourself if you think you're just going to like move this here. If it's got to do with the heart, if it's got to do with raising energy, if it's got to do with It's always got to do with this, let me tell you. It's always, each level of consciousness has always asking you to do something more, step out of a comfort zone, shed something, leave something behind, and grow. Okay? This isn't rocket science, look it up, but I know it from experience. And those I connect with of resonance of the truth of this. So you can't just say, I'm staying at this because that there, I'm staying at this, is already at, I'm keeping this level of vibration for this because it's safe and secure and this is the way I like it. Which you can see in some relationships. And it's about growth. All right? It just is. I'm lucky enough to have a spontaneous nature that is unpredictable for some, and relating to the Aquarian nature as well, in the independence of that, I am strong to just follow this opening flow. Not that I am not like emotionally and mentally immune to feeling like, everything else. This is how come I can talk about this growth. Like I've experienced what majority of us have experienced. And we all go through this. So I'm in acceptance of the sacred nature of the whole of us, and I will not, and the world is looking at it now, the heavens and earth and us in between. We are now in the evolution where it's you must rise in this way, in this new way, or in this, because if you keep holding back, you're not going to rise as much as you can. So it's just more of a rise at this time, but if you don't want to, then you will really feel it as the world is called to rise. Like I was saying, you want to do something, but you hold back. You believe that your old patterns are the only way to do something. Because evolution is growth, transformation, it is change, and if you want to hold on so tight as though you don't have to, it may not work out the way you want it. So what I have learned is a foundational heaven and earth, but I've learned it through experience. It's like the trunk of my tree. It's like the veins that feed the knowledge of who I am as a soul and my expansive experience in integrative, branching out life connection. Wherever needed. That looks different for everyone. We are introverts and extroverts in different ways, at different times. Every soul is different. And one gets to know themselves. This is a sacred growth. No one can avoid this. So you're going to feel like some branches break off. Leaves definitely die. All of nature goes through the seasons. We all must grow. Okay? There is not one tree on this planet that knows everything and can point to all the other trees and say, I'll be doing it this way and you will all serve me. All right? So just think about that when it comes to any kind of leader framework that approaches your life experience. There is not essentially one way, but there is an essential kind way. All right? Because no one deserves to be treated lesser than kind. Like, no, don't branch to the unkindness in any way. You can be directly kind, like polite, like direct. You can be these different things, but you don't have to try and take from another's tree in any way. Because we're all doing this expanse. So it doesn't serve you to take your energy and focus on another tree as though it's going to be better for your tree, because it's not. You've just taken focus from you, energy from you, and sent it out. It doesn't help your growth. The only way it would help your growth is to maybe stunt it for a while or slow it down for a while, so you actually contemplate what you did when you took from someone else's tree. Conscience, like, oh, what have I learned here in life experience? And when people maybe don't have a lot of life experience, they can kind of ignore that as though it doesn't matter. And it does for transformation and growth. Because it's a relationship planet, all right? So if you're called to grow, which we all are, it's a relationship planet. So you'd better find a way to getting along kindly. And that's that. And nothing is wrong when that is done. People can come together, but if there isn't a kindness balance there, people can leave and go. It's free will. It's a free will planet. Or people can stay and connect more on different levels and layers and grow as their sovereign trees together. There is an energetic, connection. So if I could just leave us with one kind of visual, life is about this growth. So any of our actions outward towards others or inwards towards us, we had better kind of acknowledge who we are at the trunk of our tree, which is like the different consciousness levels to learn about ourselves, and check in and be honest whether you are doing something to someone else or they are doing it to you, because it's a relationship world, and who you are and what you will stand for as a healthy life yourself. Who are you and what do you want as a healthy life experience? And learn to connect with those that support that. And this is your growth to sharing your heart and supporting who you are with your heart, and sharing your heart as who you are, and others supporting you as who you are. And this is divine cycle. This is our growth. This is what we're doing as we're here. Okay? And it's expanse of who we are in our expression, expanse of what we can give the world, expanse of who we didn't know who we are, expanse of our connection with the heavens in visualize, like not only visual but auditory connection, intuitive gut guidance. It's an expanse. This is not like a dream in a far off land. Being on earth is the dream, and learning of our consciousness and what we can do more of ourselves is the dream, the expansive dream. We just haven't been standing up for ourselves. Like, not in a battle, but this upward, and this is part of Earth's growth as well. This is part of the evolution. So it's just good to know our part in it. We have to expand at this solar level, who we are. If you shut it down, shut your mind down, keep things certain ways and expect the world is operating that way, then you're not honest with yourself. And you notice that by how you treat others and what reaction or response you get back. Or you keep yourself small from the way others expect on you, and you live a certain life that you're discontent with. So we need to peel back these people or these things that we say no to and say yes to what our heart wants. We must do this for ourselves. It's no one else's responsibility. The only time others are in our life is if we have got ourselves sorted out healthily with what we want. Healthily with what we want, not conditions put on others. Because then you're not operating at full capacity of higher intelligence. You're operating at ego at the base human level. Okay? You're not offering growth of yourself for fear, probably. And this is the growth that's needed. So you have to step out of these fears. You have to step out of these fears. So be honest with yourself as to whether you really do that, really put yourself into stepping out of the fears, or if you are keeping yourself small and just saying, well, I've become this, so I will just dump my conditions on you. That's enough growth for me. When it's not. It's not, because that's like, I don't have to consider you at the heart level, the green heart level, and express myself at the heart level. And we all got hearts. And we are souls, so we all got a solar plexus like a sunshine that's going to shine all different things out of ourselves at different times. And we need people around us that want that sun to shine, not keep the sun the same. This is why we grow, and this is why there will be challenges for the soul to get through. All different for all of us at all different levels. For some it could be the solar plexus. For some it could be the foundations. For some it could be anything else. I just can't express myself. What is going on? There is a challenge there. You must work through this and be honest. Because if we don't expand our awareness of ourselves and the honesty with that, we are not going to grow. We're not going to feel content as souls. We're going to be sorry, sad little humans putting up with anything. And I feel like I'm done again. And as I look at the 33rd minute, right on. Christ consciousness. Some wine. God bless everyone. Take care and keep on with that soul. Okay? I'll be back again. Bye for now.